The Thruxton circuit in Hampshire is about to play host to the next round of the Caterham Academy Championship. Before we dive into the action though, let's hear from Academy driver Nick Timpson on what attracted him to this entry-level series.
So this is the Caterham Academy. So it's a novice race series in these Caterham cars, which are very accessible. Some people build them. You can build it yourself, or you can buy it from the factory. And the idea is that it teaches car control. It's not too powerful. It's not too stiff, but it's a great entry into motorsport. You have to be a complete novice, and that just makes the level playing field for everyone. Same car, same level of experience. I think for me, part of it was that I actually wanted to build the car. I've always wanted to build a car, and then you start looking at the packages from Caterham, and actually the Academy, it's not actually that much more than than just buying the car. So it seemed like a great way to do some racing as well as get the car, and so far so good.
Well, it's the Academy White group heading to the grid next. After 2 races so far this season, it's very tight at the top, with Dominique Mansberger and Taylor O'Flanagan sharing the points lead with 1 win apiece. Just 1 point further back is Hugo Bush in 3rd, ready to pounce should those two hit trouble. Well, it's actually Simon Shaw, the man 4th in the championship, who has pole position here at Thruxton on the damp but drying circuit. It's almost completely dry again now though, so grip level should be about as good as they have been all day long. The championship leader, joint championship leader, Dominique Mansberger, is alongside Simon Shaw on the front row, and then Taylor O'Flanagan 3rd, with Ian Brown, the interloper amongst the championship contenders, lining up on the outside of row number 2. But with all of these drivers being complete rookies, they're all getting quicker as the year goes on. Lights out then, away they go, the race gets underway. Good start by Shaw, the yellow car on the inside of row 1, but that looks like Taylor O'Flanagan coming up the inside of everyone. They are 4 wide already into the first corner. These drivers may be new to racing, but they are not lacking in confidence, that's for sure. The racing so far this year has been arguably closer than ever, and it's side by side for the race lead into the complex for the first time, and charging round the outside, that's Ian Brown who gets the lead. There are cars on the grass further back though. The number 8 car spinning in front of the pack and gets collected by number 42, which was having its own moment there. 8 is Ike Schick. Christopher Broom is the 42 car that clattered into him. Thankfully not too much damage done though, and they will both continue, albeit at the back of the field. So, drama already. I did think that was quite an excitable start for the field as they rushed into the first few corners. The pack already starting to spread out now as a result of that, as they head through Noble for the first time. Then the right-hander at Goodwood. There is the number 69 car going through. That's Lyndon Sugar in the midfield, right out to the edge of the road and off the road for Sam Gibbons, the number 3 machine. He ran 2 wide out of Goodwood, got the left rear wheel on the grass, which is still very wet, and lost control of the car. Well, the leaders then are heading towards the chicane, and it's side by side for second place. I think it's still Ian Brown that's got the lead. Lots of late braking going on there as they hit the chicane for the first time, and Brown almost loses the lead and then loses control. He spins in front of the pack. Surely they won't miss him. Somehow, no. 1 car does get him, and there's quite a sizable shunt, I'm afraid. 36 was Alex Vincent, who I think hit Ian Brown, and several others piled in afterwards. The red flag is thrown, so the marshals can get the wreckage cleared. Well, the good news is the drivers are all okay, but that all started with Ian Brown losing control into the chicane. The red flag is thrown, and we have to wait a while to get the race restarted. Cars are lining up on the grid then for take 2 of this Academy White Group race, the 3rd round of the Caterham Academy Championship, with a slightly depleted field, but the majority of our contenders are still there. We have lost though Ian Brown. Taylor O'Flanagan was involved in that too, although I think he's got his car back out for the restart. Lots of championship contenders were caught up in that shunt since it happened at the front of the pack. Well, here we go then, watching for the red lights, and the track now completely dry. That's the one good thing about this red flag. The circuit is now in the best condition it's been in all day. The lights go out, they're away and racing again. Now, they were 4 wide into the first quarter before. They might try it again. They're going to be at least 3 wide for second place as they head into Allards for the first time. You'd think they'd learn after the dramatic first attempt to get this race started. They're all cleanly through the first corner. What about the complex though? This is where we had a bit of argy-bargy at the initial start of the race. Onto the brakes, Simon Shaw has the lead, number 86, and lots of locking up, bit of sideways action, bit of curb hopping there for the 77 of Jack Woodgate. Are they all through? I can hear more screeching of tyres, but no, I think they've managed to stay away from each other just about this time. Good stuff. They are learning with every lap of racing they complete, of course. And race starts are the most perilous point of any race, really, so they're doing well to survive here today. Out towards Noble they go. The leader starting to get away now slightly. Simon Shaw, who's definitely found some pace this weekend at Thruxton. Didn't get a great initial start, but on the restart, he is starting to get away possibly from the rest of the field. There's the number 8 car. Clean start this time for Ike Schick, who was able, of course, to retake his original grid position. So all of that time he lost with the first spin that he had has now been regained. Through Church Corner then. Leaders come through, the slipstream starting to bunch them all back together again. And here comes that slipstream. They're going to be side by side for second, maybe even for the race lead. Taylor O'Flanagan, the yellow car on the inside line, is trying to take second, but he might end up in first place as they go towards the chicane once again. 3 abreast into the braking zone. Typical Thruxton Caterham action this. This is the perfect circuit really for Caterham racing, because you've got these wide open spaces and lots of long flat out sections to use the slipstream through. And Taylor O'Flanagan timed that to perfection. He hits the front then, down to third for Simon Shaw, who was leading about 20 seconds ago. And then this is the battle going on behind. Almost a bit of contact there as the number 7 of James Walker tried to carry a bit more speed through the first corner than the cars in front of him were. The top 3, therefore, are just starting to take advantage of that battle to pull away. Back up the inside, attempts to go Simon Shaw. That's Dominic Mansberger that he's trying to pass. So these are the top 3 on the grid, all racing in the top 3 positions. Replay of the start then. Everyone away cleanly this time around. And up towards that first corner, it was very frantic stuff indeed though. At the front, in the middle, and towards the back really. Never a dull moment in Caterham racing, even at entry level. Back up towards the chicane, and you'll be shocked to hear there's some side-by-side action going on here. There's just no escaping the pack around this place. And will they all get through the chicane cleanly this time? Just about. Bit of curb hopping, bit of wheel banging. They all get through though, and there the number 15 car right in the thick of it is Ian Brown. Started on the outside of row number 2, did Ian? And just trying desperately to get himself to the front of this queue now. Number 7 is James Walker, also heading through the first corner. And this scrap is just not going to relent, I don't think, to the end of the race. This is the battle for the race lead. We're into the second half of it now, and it's got a completely different look at the front of the field than we had early on. There goes Nick Timpson up the inside. We heard from him before the race started, and he was excited about getting the race under his belt here at Thruxton. Pretty intimidating place to race, I'd imagine, as a racing rookie. Nick Timpson there throwing it up the inside through Campbell Cobb and Seagrave. The leading trio, though, are heading through Goodwood. And it's still those same 3 out in front for now. A bit of a gap back to everyone else, really, trying to be in 4th place. Really starting to stretch the legs now of these Caterham Academy cars out at the back of the circuit, right up to the edge of the road. You can see why it requires full commitment here at Thruxton. You've got to flirt with disaster to find the ultimate pace. Right, up towards the chicane. This is Dominic Mansberger, I think, trying to gain some ground now in that number 25 car. Up the inside towards the chicane and goes through. So the driver that has a share of the points lead working towards the front now into P2 as they go back through the chicane ahead of Simon Shaw, number 86 now. But Taylor O'Flanagan possibly starting to escape. Well, not quite breaking the slipstream maybe, but if those two keep on scrapping behind him, Taylor could start to run away with this slightly. Up the hill again towards the complex. Possible overtaking opportunity, but I don't think anyone's really close enough on this occasion. They all take the wide sweeping line in, and Dominic Mansberger closing right in now on the race leader. Just to prove the point about there being racing wherever you look in the field, here comes another 3-wide battle making its way towards the chicane. And into the braking zone again. Michael Koo, I think, is the 88 car there on the inside, trying to come past 2 cars. This is fraught with danger, and no one really wants to give way. And they're all kind of trying to fit through the chicane together. And I think, yes, nicely done. No contact that time around. And number 20, Chris Griffith, comes out on top this time around. Right, back to the leaders. And what's going on here? There's been a big shuffle around. Is that a problem for the race leader? Because maybe a missed gear or something. Suddenly there was a huge stack up as they went through Goodwood, and Dominic Mansberger rather got held up in all of that. And who comes out with the race lead? It's going to be Simon Shaw, So down to second for O'Flanagan, but he's immediately back on his tail again. So Taylor O'Flanagan to the outside line, gets his nose in front. He should have the whole car ahead by the time they hit the braking zone. And this time it's Simon Shaw that looks like a sitting duck in the slipstream. Mansberger to the outside as well. Is super late on the brakes. Too late on the brakes. Off the road, pointing the wrong way. There's another spin further back as well in a separate incident, I think. But for the joint championship leader, that was the worst possible outcome. It's side by side to the checkered flag though. And Simon Shaw gets it by a 10.5 over Taylor O'Flanagan in second place. Phenomenal racing there. James Walker comes home in third. What a dramatic end to the race. Well, confirmation then of your podium finishes. Mansberger rejoined down in 9th position, and with Taylor O'Flanagan second, that will have a big effect on the championship standings, and here you can see the effect that it has. The championship now being led by Hugo Bush.
I think like many races here at Thruxton, it's a 100-mile-an-hour game of chess, I think is how they call it. And yeah, the last lap, Taylor was slowing us all up, going around the back there, and it was like, oh, and I just wanted to just make my move. Taylor passed me again coming into the chicane, but I just had enough of him across the line. I think there must have been thousands between us. So.